My name is Jenny Lee. I'm the founder of MINDWAVES. I started MINDWAVES by accident. I started questioning everything. Am I truly happy? And am I doing what I'm meant to do? I was a new mom and I lost my identity. I started realizing that I wasn't Jenny anymore. I was just Blake and Sophie's mom. At some point, I started realizing that at the end of all of this, what am I going to be left with? And I was at the rock bottom of my life. And out of desperation, after I'd gone to the doctor, started going on medication, they were like, again, you need to go and exercise. You need to incorporate movement. I got into yoga, meditation, which I absolutely hated. I called it hokey pokey shit. So I went to a gym that a couple of good friends had started going to. It was a boutique gym and they had a 90-day challenge going on. So I did it with no intention of actually truly healing myself on an emotional level. I did it with the intention of maybe healing on a physical level. And my one incentive was the prize. And the prize was to win a all-inclusive trip to Puerto Vallarta. My ultimate goal was I wanted to run as far away as I could from my life and just have a moment to just pause. And I went and I did it and I hated it and I didn't know how to sit with my emotions. And for the first time, I found somewhere that was a community of people who made me feel safe. And that's the day that I had my first big release, emotional release. I chose to keep going. And after a year of that, it finally, ding, that light bulb went off. I finally had my brain shut off for once in my life. And it was so nice. And then I started falling in love with Shavasana. Fast forward 4 years later, I came back on that very beach without knowing intentionally that I would become a yoga teacher and an international instructor. And I ended up teaching my first yoga class at that very beach that I was crying my eyes out. And then I got introduced into the world of sound bath meditation. And this is where one of my bestest friends that has been an angel to me had introduced me into sound bath meditation, Camila. I started snoring like a trucker. So I joke about the fact that I ended up having to facilitate sound baths only because I was falling asleep so fast in them that I didn't want to disrupt people. So I thought maybe if I taught it, I would still get the benefits of it. I always had a music background and I was always very musically inclined. I've always used music as a form of therapy. I started facilitating sound bath meditation for fun, for family, because I started loving the instruments. I started playing with different instruments to incorporate into my everyday life. And suddenly I became a sound bath junkie. I wanted to create a legacy for myself. Looking back at all the things that have challenged us in life, all the pain that we've endured, all the experiences that were painful and hurtful to us. Pain isn't meant to hurt us. Yes, it is hurtful, but the true lesson behind pain is to turn that into a purpose. The whole idea behind the movement is to take what I started off as Intentions Wellness, which was just having intention to help others turn their pain into a purpose. Your legacy has nothing to do with the amount of money that you have, the assets that you have. It has nothing to do with the labels and the career, all of that stuff. But the actual legacy of your life is what kind of imprint do you leave behind? The movement is to collectively come together to co-create a safer way of healing through our traumas, to break the generational traumas. So the MINDWAVE movement is using sound bath meditation as a catalyst to plant seeds of transformation to bring you through this symphony sound bath journey that allows you to settle into your nervous system and feel safe to just let go and breathe and just be. And through that, that's when we get to that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the state of rest and digest. And with the sound bath, we use that as a catalyst because there is a science behind sound bath meditation. So we get to the alpha, theta, and delta state of rest and digest. And when we get to those states, we can then actually truly authentically be ourselves. And in that moment is when planting seeds of transformation or planting seeds of intention is the most effective moment that you can actually not only live peacefully, but live intentionally with purpose. Making changes in our life is so important right now, because we live in a society that is so overstimulating, is so overstressed, and spread so thin that people are struggling and living through survival mode. And we're living in this sympathetic nervous system of fight or flight. Your second life starts the day you realize you only have one. Is your soul satisfied? Everything that we do in life should have a purpose. How many of us out there in this world is living in conflict? We are so far disconnected from each other. As human beings, we thrive on connection, but a lot of the connections that we have is toxic. If you don't like what you see, then you have to be part of that change. And that change starts with you. I chose sound healing because I find that it is one of the most effective, the most potent, the quickest way to get people to their parasympathetic nervous system. The hardest part about a sound bath meditation is showing up. That's it. You have to first find regulation within your nervous system. Nothing matters more than your personal well-being. Learn how to rewire your brain, learn how to rewire your life, and learn how to actually reduce the chaos in your internal environment so that the chaos in your external environment doesn't affect your life. A sound bath meditation is just a deep massage for your nervous system. You take a bowl of water and you bring vibration, you strike vibration, and the vibration penetrates into the water. What happens is the water doesn't sit still. You're gonna see this ripple effect happen in the water. We are made up of at least 70% liquid and blood and fluids that when we lay in a sound bath simply put is just us bathing in a soundscape of frequency and vibration. We're moving energy that's stuck in our body. So when we're in fight or flight, our nervous system clenches so hard that we have wired our brain into reacting to fight or flight all the time. I used to clench in my jaw all the time, especially in my sleep. So I had chronic pain in my lower back. I had chronic pain in my neck. The cool part about sound bath meditation, if we dive even deeper into it, is what it does to your brain waves. And with the different frequency and vibrations, there are certain hertz, octaves, and tones and notes that trigger releases in the body, where we take ourselves from the higher frequencies to bring our brain waves to the lower frequencies that allows us to let go of our thoughts, to let go of all the rambles. And the only time that our body can truly rest is when we are in that state of alpha, theta, and delta state. And that science is this potent holistic medicine that really helps everyday people be able to heal themselves, to rewire our brain, to create more of a healthy lifestyle and a healthy environment so that we can thrive.